Okay, let's start this explainer off with a bit of a mystery. I want you to picture two identical lives. We're talking two people who graduate from the exact same university, they start their careers making the exact same salary, they live in the exact same city, and they have access to the exact same opportunities. Now fast forward 20 years. One of them is completely financially free. I mean, they travel whenever they want, they only work because they choose to, and they own investments that literally pay them while they sleep. But the other person? Well, they're still waiting for payday. They might be earning a much higher salary now, sure, but every single month feels like they are starting completely over from zero.
So you've got to wonder, how does that happen? How do two people leave the exact same starting line and end up in completely different universes? Most of us just assume the answer is luck, or raw talent, or maybe the economy. But the shocking truth, becoming wealthy actually has way less to do with how much money you make and absolutely everything to do with how you think. You see, most people become poor in their decisions long before they ever run out of money.
Which brings us to part one, the invisible comfort trap. To really understand why most people never build wealth, we have to look at our own biological hardwiring. Thousands of years ago, survival meant seeking immediate rewards, right? Like eating the berries the exact second you found them. Well, today, that exact same survival brain is what makes you impulse buy a toaster online at 2 a.m. Every single notification, every flash sale, every unnecessary subscription, they aren't just purchases. They are tiny, rapid-fire votes for the exact life you're eventually going to have. Look at it this way. The immediate reward of instant comfort literally creates the long-term consequence of repeating bad habits. An impulse purchase isn't just losing a few bucks, it is the very mechanism of staying poor. Buying a single fancy coffee isn't the problem here. The problem is the invisible repetition. It's choosing immediate comfort over long-term wealth, day after day. Wealth is built or destroyed by thousands of these totally invisible decisions.
All right, let's shift gears a bit. Part 2, the psychology of staying poor.
This whole trap, it's built from our very first days in a classroom. We were essentially handed the employee playbook. For nearly 20 years, the system trains us perfectly on 4 specific steps: memorize, follow instructions, pass tests, and avoid mistakes. We spend thousands of hours learning how to be truly excellent workers, but the system completely fails to teach us how money, taxes, or ownership actually work. You're out there trying to win a high-stakes game without ever being taught the rules. And because we're so heavily conditioned to avoid mistakes at all costs, we develop this massive fear of losing money or looking foolish. But here is the crazy paradox. That fear becomes an invisible prison, and it guarantees the exact future you're trying to avoid. Why? Because avoiding every single risk means you're also avoiding every single opportunity. Wealthy people don't magically eliminate risk, they just learn how to manage it. And that leads us to another massive psychological trap, the comparison game. We live in a social media world where everyone just broadcasts their highlight reel. People spend all their money trying to look rich instead of actually, becoming rich. But remember this, real wealth is quiet. Debt is often incredibly loud. One quietly buys freedom, while the other is just buying attention.
Okay, so how do they do it? Let's dive into part 3, the hidden wealth creation system.
Let's think about money like planting a couple of trees. You water one tree every single day, and it grows strong. The other one misses just a little water over and over again, and it stays weak. Now, for the first few weeks, they look identical. But years later, the difference is impossible to ignore. That is exactly how compounding works. It's totally invisible in the beginning, which is exactly why most people quit before the massive differences actually show up. They expect overnight results from a process that's literally designed to take years.
Now, this right here destroys the single biggest myth about money. Most people honestly believe becoming rich simply means getting a higher salary. But let's look at the math. A person earning $60,000 a year who invests consistently can easily, and I mean easily, outperform someone earning $300,000 who spends everything they make. Income does not create wealth. The gap between what you earn and what you keep, that is what creates wealth.
Here's the real secret. The wealthy don't just sell their time for money. Instead, they buy back their time by slowly collecting assets. We're talking businesses, stocks, real estate, intellectual property, digital products, royalties, the whole shebang. They focus entirely on increasing their ownership of things that just keep producing value long after the initial work is done.
We all absolutely love to celebrate the finish line, right? We see an investor make it big and we call it an overnight success. But the actual timeline of wealth maps out a completely different truth. Year 1 is totally invisible. Year 5, honestly, it often feels like failing. By year 10, you're still quietly building. It isn't until you're 15 that decades of compounding finally reach escape velocity. Almost nobody studies those invisible years, but that's where the magic happens.
So, let's wrap this up with part 4, your first wealthy decision. I want you to be brutally 100% honest with yourself right now. If someone just handed you $10 million today, would you actually stay rich, or would that money slowly disappear? The hard truth is, money just magnifies who you already are. Disciplined people usually become wealthier. Undisciplined people almost always become poor. Making and keeping wealth is a behavioral problem, guys, not just a financial one.
But hey, here is the incredibly good news. If poor habits can compound, so can ordinary good ones. Reading just 10 pages a day, learning one new valuable skill every year, investing consistently, living below your means, building things instead of only consuming them. On their own, these actions seem completely ordinary, right? But they become absolutely extraordinary when you let enough time pass.
At the end of the day, most people never get rich because they spend their entire lives chasing comfort instead of freedom. But your future isn't built someday. It's built today, quietly, repeatedly, almost invisibly. Every dollar you invest wisely, every book you read, every lesson you learn, it's a gift to the person you are going to become. You literally change everything the moment you decide to stop thinking like everyone else. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on today. If your daily habits continue exactly as they are right now, where will your financial life be 10 years from now? Because your future isn't just something that randomly happens to you. It's something you build, one single decision at a time. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you make your next decision a wealthy one.